Hi, my name is Simone and I'm the Zen Mommy. I help people with spiritual awakening and navigating ascension. And today I want to talk about using voice or vocal toning to shift your energy, to heal, clear your energy, or even do deep shadow work. It's one of the first things I learned in my program is how to use vocal toning to do these things. So one thing that I had to understand about how does vocal toning work, because I had a voice all my life. How did I not know that I had a powerful healing tool right with me? The throat is my instructor calls it the second birth canal, because through your throat chakra, you can create sound, and sound creates form, and the base of sound is the base of everything in the universe. And so when using vocal toning to make an energy shift or a healing of some sort, you simply have to use sound to release. So we have a frequency field. Okay, we are in a constant state of this frequency field around us, and anything that's happened to us, either throughout the day or even throughout our life that has not been resolved, will still hang around in our frequency field, affecting our energy. This happens particularly like at night. If you had some stuff that you didn't resolve throughout the day and you go to bed, that stuff kind of sticks with you. You might have a dream about it. Have you ever had, like a dream kind of dealing with, work or something? Like sometimes when I play a video game, I'll be dreaming about the video game. So these things, they hang out in our frequency field. And so what sound does is it letting out a sound and taking a deep breath allows you to release a lot of that energy with your voice. It kind of shakes up the frequency field. And so it'll clear your energy, basically. So this was an exercise that was particularly hard for me. Growing up, I I always wanted to have the singing voice. I grew up, in church, and I would see the people who had the beautiful voice, and I would always wonder, why don't I have a beautiful voice? Well, in sound healing, it's not about the sound. It's not judgmental. Even with the crystal bowls, to me, of course, it's beautiful sound, and to most of us trained or spiritual people, it sounds beautiful. But say a regular person who likes listening to music per se, maybe hip hop, rock and roll, they won't see it as probably a beautiful sound. Well, it's really not about the sound, it's about the energy, it's about the vibration, it's about how it shifts your frequency. And so that's how it is with the sound. So it may sound, you know, I mean, you may, like I said, I can't sound, but I had to come out of being even embarrassed. I realized through, programming, that I'm even embarrassed to sound my own voice out loud. So this has been really hard for me to do this exercise. And so I did one particular exercise. So I was thinking, I was at my second class, and I didn't have much luck with the sounding. I was too afraid to wake up the family in the morning, and I was just too afraid to sound silly at one point. And so I wasn't having much luck with the sounding. So after the next class, we talked about it a little bit more. And I started to learn about how you can use sound and also match the frequency of something within you. And I also learned that I learned examples of how sound actually heals you. For example, if you're in a lot of pain and you scream, ah, or for ladies, if you've been in labor, I'm sure you know what it means to scream. I finally remember when having a child that the only time I didn't feel pain is when I was screaming to the top of my lungs. And the whole hospital ran to my room, but I wasn't going to stop because I never did get the breathing methods done. And it never hit me. I did realize, I thought it was just taking my mind off of it, but a shift occurs when you're making a sound. And so I wanted to really get into this exercise and see if I could, if I could find this voice within to do some healing. And I didn't think I can do it. So I was sitting at home taking a spiritual bath. And, I decided, I'm going to practice the sounding. Um, I started off with a hum. I decided I was kind of meditating in the tub and I started humming. And the thing is you just have to allow the sounds to naturally come out because it's really an intuitive process and you pay attention to what the sound does. So say if you say something like ah, and then or it comes out like this ah, or it will come out in different ways. I know it sounds silly, but it comes out in different ways, but that's the energy. And so I started to hum, and as I began to hum, I started to notice a melody. It was a really sad melody. And at first I was about to back up and be like, nah, this ain't working. But I decided to go for it. Okay. I allowed myself to give in to the melody, to like allow my voice to start humming this melody. And this melody turned out to be a church song. And so those of you know about my know the history of my channel is I grew up in Christianity and I was in a really hardcore church, really controlling Christianity church, and I had some programming beliefs really indoctrinated in me to on a very strong level, and this awakening came, and I almost didn't step forward with what my soul was drawing me to because of the programming. And at first I couldn't even let go of like I still was praying to Jesus in the beginning. And it really took like me making a conscious shift to seek out this path, to seek out this journey that my soul was calling me to. And as I started to awaken my mind, I started to see that a lot of what I was going through with religion was a lot of programming. And then after I had my ayahuasca experience, I saw that, for when I had my ayahuasca experience, I saw this whole deity thing is basically, another thing that was created here. It was created here. It's a lot of programming. It's a lot of control. So immediately I rejected Christianity because I felt like I gave my life to this and it wasn't even real. It wasn't even true. And, and as I started to hum this song, I began to get really sad. I started crying and I started to hum this song about Jesus. And the song went something like, let me think for a second. I have so many things going through my head right now. Okay, so it had the word. I don't know if you've ever been in a Christian church. You know how the songs they get to you, they make you cry, and it said something about how he died for me, he saved my soul, and I will never leave him. And I had this. There was this hurt that was inside me that was now being released through the summit. I realized how hurt I was about religion, about fine. I felt deceived by Christianity. I felt like it wasn't fair, for the belief systems to be forcefully put on me, for the fear of dying, the fear of going to hell. And I saw back. And so as I was humming this song, I began to get flooded with memories, and my higher self, my spirit began to show me things. It began to show me that I didn't properly grieve. I looked at Christianity as this, as, oh my God, I felt like I had to stay far, far away from it because, I felt manipulated by Christianity. But I didn't really grieve it because the person, see what this vocal toning did, it helped me release this inner child. There was this inner child, this version of me that loved Jesus. Jesus was there for me. When I prayed for him, he answered my prayers, and I dedicated my whole life to him. I gave up on relationships. I gave up on kids. I gave up on everything for this Jesus. And that's why I was so angry to find out the truth, what I found out when I went out of body. But I had to still, what was higher self and spirit was showing me is I had to still acknowledge that that version of me was in love with the deity I created. Also within that, it also showed me that this idea of Jesus, of this deity, was created out of pure belief, and what a lot of, the religions don't realize it is this is what happened is I wanted to believe in Jesus. And through this vocal tone, all this download started coming. I started to see why Jesus. Why are people flocking to this deity? And I thought about the young child self. You think about how we come into this world and we have amnesia and we don't remember who we are. And then when someone comes and singing you the Jesus song, it gave you hope in a world that seems dark. And for a lot of people, we don't remember who we are. We don't remember that we are the creator. And so at that time, as creator gods, we take all of that energy, right? We take all of that energy and we put it into a deity. Now we're faithful to the deity. We're praying to the deity. We're praying over food. We're fasting, doing different things. And so basically, it's a relationship we built, right? And we put a lot of energy into. But what we don't really realize is the Jesus that everyone is worshiping is really our belief system. We believed it. We put it there. We gave ourselves something to believe in. We gave ourselves hope. And I had to look at it on those terms in order to start to begin to heal from the hurt I had. I must have been carrying this for years. I've been very, very happy, but sometimes I would have an underlying sadness. I sometimes would feel, like when you spend all your life, feeling like you have to look up to a deity and praying to a deity and a deity, and then you realize you are the deity. It's not an easy transition to completely get that faith in yourself, because all along we've been taught we're nobody, we're sinners, and so I took that moment to revisit with that little girl version of me, and I allowed her to just purge and cry it out. I just allowed her to cry because I felt like I was feeling like for so long that I couldn't allow myself to have emotion for that religion. I couldn't allow myself to have emotion for Jesus. But what I had to do was realize Jesus was me. Jesus was what I created. I believed in Jesus. I believed my prayers would get answered, and they got answered. That only happened because I put my total and absolute belief in it. We are more powerful than we know. And so when that came out, I felt a release. I felt so good. I was just like, I was tearing up. I felt like a different person releasing that energy. It also helped me see that I had been projecting on the Christianity religion. I kind of I wanted, once I saw the truth of the religion, I wanted everybody else to see it. And when I have like make a video about, my journey on switching out of the religions, and then I would get the Christians giving me paragraphs telling me I'm a sinner, telling me I'm a demon, telling me, and so I would get really angry, and I was really fed up with the whole Christian people, and then with this awakening, so many people woke up, but they decided to retain Jesus and be like the conscious Christian. Yet they can do all the things like they can do divination and talking to the dead and witchcraft, and they're embracing those things and still worshiping Jesus. And so for me, I thought that this was ridiculous, and I really got annoyed, and I was thinking, maybe there's something to why I'm getting really annoyed with Christians. Well, this little exercise of releasing my voice, um, that really, it released that. It really released that energy and, the pain. Because I just, I felt so, so hurt by Christianity. I felt so abandoned by Jesus, and I'm just, I'm thankful for this for this whole sound healing experience. But I'm gonna give you a little example on how to do sound healing. I mean, how to do vocal toning, so that maybe you can try this at home. And so, if you do it, as I said earlier, you want to do it before you go to bed and clear your energy from the day. The energy from the things that got trapped in your frequency field. You want to take really, really deep breaths, expand your stomach, and from deep within, you want to let out sound. So you go, ah, and you want to do it, ah. This is called sounding. Okay, you do it for a few minutes. Whenever you're really angry, you can also sound to release some of that anger energy. Have you ever noticed how, like, when you get really mad, it feels so good to yell at the top of your lungs? That's because you're releasing energy. But you have to be careful when it's negative energy you're voicing, because you are putting it out into the energy field. So you want to voice it just enough to get the relief, shake up some of that energy, but you don't want to put too much into the energy field. You want to try to calm and meditate, clear your mind afterwards. So if you do this at night, it'll clear you from the day, and your dreams won't be plagued with stuff that you were worried about all day or something. And if you do it when you first wake up in the morning, it will clear off the day before, and you can go on about your day. And so sounding is something we can practice all day and all night. And you just got to get used to this of hearing your voice. It's through programming that people would say my voice is ugly. And it's through program that we think that it's ugly. But sound is very beautiful, and that sound can heal us in so many ways. Sound created the universe. And so, anyways, I just wanted to share my experience with vocal toning and how it healed me. And as you know, it provided me with some really deep shadow work. And I really feel like with this with this accomplishment of realizing this, that I see now how to take the idea of a deity like Jesus, and to really place that within me. I had to go back and look at what everything I was doing, worshiping this God, getting these answers from this God. I had to realize that God was actually me. I just didn't know who I was when I was manifesting that experience. Thank you for watching. Peace and love. Namaste.